Outer Wilds. Alright, let's dive into Outer Wilds. This game it's an experience. I know that sounds dramatic, but once you play it, you'll get it. It's a time loop space exploration adventure, but calling it just that feels like underselling it. This one's all about curiosity and discovery. You play as this astronaut from a species of super chill, space-obsessed aliens. Your job? Hop into your rickety little wooden spaceship and explore a mini solar system that's trapped in a 22-minute time loop. At the end of those 22 minutes, well, the sun goes supernova and you're back where you started. It's wild. The loop might sound repetitive, but here's the thing. It never feels that way. Every loop teaches you something new. You'll piece together ancient mysteries, uncover the fate of a long-lost alien race, and figure out why this solar system is stuck in its Groundhog Day moment. The gameplay is pure exploration. No combat, no hand-holding. You're just out there with your map, your ship, and your brain. You can land on any planet you see, and every single one is brimming with secrets. One planet is crumbling into a black hole, another has sand pouring between its twin moons, and there's even a creepy quantum moon that refuses to follow the laws of physics. It's like a sci-fi playground where every corner has a story to tell. And can we talk about the vibe? The game feels so peaceful, but also unsettling. The soundtrack? Gorgeous. It's mostly acoustic guitar, and it perfectly captures that mix of wonder and loneliness as you explore the unknown. But then there are moments where the game gets eerie, like when you stumble into a dark cave on a dying planet, or realize you're running out of time as the music swells. What's crazy is how emotional this game can get. It doesn't seem like the kind of game that'd make you feel things, but when you uncover the deeper story, why the loop exists, who the ancient Nomai were, it hits hard. There's this bittersweet beauty in the way it tackles themes of life, death, and the pursuit of knowledge. If you love games that make you think, that reward you for paying attention, and that leave you staring at the credits in awe, Outer Wilds is a must-play. It's not just a game, it's one of those experiences you'll remember forever. 10 out of 10, absolutely brilliant. Portal 2.
To movement through portals.
Let's talk about Portal 2, a game that's not just a 10 out of 10, it's a genre-defining classic. If you haven't played it yet, what are you even doing? This game takes everything the original Portal did and cranks it up to 11. More puzzles, more story, more humor, it's the total package. So you're back in the shoes of Chell, stuck in Aperture Science, trying to escape its creepy, crumbling halls. The gameplay is of course centered around the iconic portal gun. You know the drill, blue portal, orange portal, and your brain working overtime to figure out how to use them to solve increasingly tricky puzzles. But what makes Portal 2 so brilliant is how it keeps introducing new mechanics. One moment you're bouncing on repulsion gel, the next you're speeding across propulsion gel, and then you're redirecting lasers or using light bridges. It's constantly surprising you, and it's all so well designed that every solution feels clever but never unfair. The writing is also next level. The humor is razor sharp, from GLaDOS' sarcastic jabs to Wheatley's bumbling attempts to help. But what surprised me is how the game also builds on the lore of Aperture Science. You explore old abandoned test chambers, hear recordings from Cave Johnson, and learn about the company's bizarre, shady history.
Alright, brilliant. Go team! See you in an hour, hopefully.
Somehow, Portal 2 manages to balance humor with a touch of melancholy, making it feel way deeper than you'd expect. The Witcher 3 Wild Hunt. This is the one people will tell their grandkids about. It's an RPG so good, it practically rewrote the rules for open-world storytelling. If you haven't played it yet, let me set the stage for you. You step into the boots of Geralt of Rivia, a grizzled monster hunter, or witcher, who's just trying to do his job while getting pulled into political drama, epic battles, and personal heartbreaks. The main story revolves around finding Ciri, his adopted daughter, who's on the run from the terrifying, otherworldly Wild Hunt. But let's be real, the main story is just the tip of the iceberg. The side quests? Absolute legends. This game doesn't do filler. Every quest feels handcrafted, with its own twists, moral dilemmas, and unforgettable characters. One minute you're helping a ghost reunite with their lost love, and the next, you're deciding the fate of an entire village. And don't even get me started on the Bloody Baron questline. It's so well written, it could have been the main plot in another game. You'll laugh, cry, and probably second guess your choices at least a dozen times.
And once she is herself again, we will find you.
The world? Massive. And I don't just mean big for the sake of being big. It's alive. From the bustling cities of Novigrad and Oxenfurt, to the spooky swamps of Velen, to the icy isles of Skellige, every location is dripping with atmosphere. And the attention to detail is insane. NPCs have their own routines, the weather changes dynamically, and the landscapes are jaw-droppingly gorgeous. Combat is where things get spicy. It's all about strategy. You've got your swords, bombs, crossbow, and magic, called signs, but the key is preparation. Each monster has weaknesses, so you're always checking your bestiary, crafting potions, and laying traps. It's like every fight is its own little puzzle. And let's talk about choices. This game doesn't hold your hand or give you easy answers. Your decisions have real consequences, not just in the moment, but hours or even dozens of hours later. It's all about those gray areas. You might think you're doing the right thing, but the outcome? Well, let's just say it's complicated. And the DLC's worth every penny. Hearts of Stone gives you one of the best villains in gaming history, and Blood and Wine is basically its own mini Witcher game with a stunning new map and a vampire-filled storyline that's to die for, literally. Oh, and Gwent, the in-game card game that's so good it spawned its own spin-off. You'll tell yourself, just one more match, and suddenly it's 3 AM. It Takes Two. This game is an absolute masterpiece, and if you haven't played it yet, you're seriously missing out. It's not just another co-op game, it's one of the best single-player story-driven co-op game out there. So the game is all about this bickering couple, Cody and May, who get turned into these tiny doll versions of themselves because their kids' magical tears, yes, you heard that right, spark this whole weird, whimsical adventure. And it's not just about patching up their relationship, it's about fixing broken vacuums, fighting crazy squirrels, and even beating up a giant cuckoo clock. It's like Honey, I Shrunk the Kids, but on steroids. The gameplay is chef's kiss. It's constantly throwing new mechanics at you. One second you're platforming, the next you're solving puzzles, and then bam, you're in a random boss fight that feels like it was pulled from another genre entirely. And the best part is, every mechanic is designed for two people. It's not like one person does all the cool stuff while the other holds a flashlight like certain older co-op games. No, here both players are equally important. You need each other to survive, which makes it perfect for bonding or, screaming at each other in frustration. Either way, memories will be made. Visually, the game is stunning. Every level feels like its own world. You go from a cozy little shed to a magical snowy globe to this trippy kaleidoscope of colors, and it's all gorgeous. But what really gets you is the humor and heart. It's funny, it's emotional, and somehow it makes you care about these two characters who, let's be real, kinda suck at the beginning. By the end though, you're rooting for them.
Well, now we are. Huh?
Ori and the Will of the Wisps. Let's talk about Ori and the Will of the Wisps. This game is pure magic, plain and simple. If you're into games that are beautiful, emotional, and downright challenging, this is one you need to play. It's the kind of game that feels handcrafted, like every little detail exists to pull you deeper into its world. First off, the visuals. Oh my god, this game is gorgeous. It's like playing a living painting. Every area is packed with rich colors, stunning lighting, and crazy little details that make you stop and just stare. The environments are incredibly diverse too. Lush forests, eerie caves, glowing underwater ruins. It's a visual treat from start to finish. And the animations? Smooth as butter. Ori glides, jumps, and fights in a way that feels so fluid it's almost hypnotic. Now, gameplay. This is where Will of the Wisps really shines. It's a Metroidvania, so you're exploring a sprawling map, unlocking new abilities, and revisiting old areas to find secrets. And the platforming? It's tight. Every jump, dash, and glide feels perfectly tuned. The game's all about precision, and yeah, it can get tough. You'll die a lot, but when you finally nail a tricky section, it's insanely satisfying. Plus, the combat system got a serious upgrade from the first game. Ori now has a whole arsenal of attacks, swords, bows, even spirit hammers, and it makes every fight feel dynamic and exciting. And then there's the story. Ori and the Will of the Wisps doesn't just tug at your heartstrings, it practically rips them out. It picks up where Blind Forest left off, and without spoiling too much, it's all about family, loss, and finding hope in dark times. The game doesn't need a ton of dialogue to get its point across. The music, the visuals, and the little interactions between characters do all the heavy lifting. And that soundtrack? Literal chills. It's hauntingly beautiful and perfectly matches every moment, whether it's a quiet, emotional scene or an intense boss battle. Speaking of boss battles, they're epic. The game throws some massive, terrifying creatures at you, and each fight is a mix of platforming and combat that feels like a dance. And let's not forget the chase sequences, those heart-pounding moments where you're running for your life while the music swells. They're stressful, sure, but they're also unforgettable. Doom Eternal. Alright, buckle up, because Doom Eternal is here to absolutely wreck your nerves in the best way possible. If you're looking for fast-paced, adrenaline-pumping chaos where you feel like an unstoppable demon-slaying god, this is the game for you. It's Doom turned up to 11, and it does not hold back. The story? Let's be real. It's there, but it's not why you're playing. You're the Doomslayer, and demons have taken over Earth. That's all you need to know. What matters is that you've got a chainsaw, a shotgun, and a mission to send every single demon back to hell. The game throws you into a metal-fueled roller coaster of destruction, and it's glorious. Now, the gameplay. Oh man, the gameplay. It's not just shooting, it's an art form. You've got a ridiculous arsenal, from your trusty super shotgun, now with a grappling hook, to the BFG 9000, and every weapon has a purpose. But this isn't a game where you can just camp behind cover and pick off enemies. Nope. Doom Eternal demands that you keep moving, keep shooting, and keep ripping and tearing until there's nothing left. And the enemies, well, they don't mess around. The game throws wave after wave of demons at you, each one nastier than the last. You've got the classic imps and cacodemons, sure, but then there are new nightmares like the Marauder, who's basically the demon version of a boss fight every time you see him. It's intense, but here's the thing, it's not chaos for the sake of chaos. There's a rhythm to the combat. You have to manage your ammo, health, and armor, all while dodging fireballs and chainsawing demons for resources. It's pure, controlled mayhem. The level design is also next level. You're not just running through dark hallways. This game throws you into massive open battle arenas where verticality is key. You're double jumping, dashing, swinging on monkey bars. It's like Doom meets parkour, and it feels awesome. Plus, the environments are stunning. From the ruins of Earth to hell itself to some mind-blowing alien landscapes, every level feels unique and just dripping with atmosphere. Tomb Raider 2013. Tomb Raider 2013 is a grounded reboot that reintroduces Lara Croft as a young archaeologist learning to survive in hostile conditions. The story begins with a shipwreck that leaves Lara and her crew stranded on a dangerous island. As events unfold, Lara is pushed to her limits, transforming from a curious explorer into a determined survivor. The gameplay combines exploration, combat, and puzzles. The island is filled with areas to uncover, including optional tombs with rewarding challenges. Puzzles are logical and straightforward, encouraging critical thinking without becoming frustrating. The combat focuses on resourcefulness. Lara uses a bow and other weapons while taking advantage of her environment. Players can approach encounters stealthily or engage directly, with both options feeling responsive and satisfying. Lara's development ties the game together. Her growth feels natural and earned, reflecting the challenges she faces. By the end, she emerges as a capable adventurer, and the journey feels complete. Tomb Raider is an engaging action-adventure game that balances its elements well. It's an excellent starting point for players interested in Lara Croft's modern story. Detroit: Become Human. Detroit Become Human is an interactive narrative game set in a near-future world where androids serve humans in everyday life. The story explores themes of freedom, morality, and humanity through 3 main characters. The gameplay focuses on decision-making. Every choice you make affects the story, sometimes in subtle ways and sometimes with significant consequences. The branching narrative structure ensures that no 2 playthroughs are exactly the same. Dialogue choices, quick-time events, and exploration all play a role in shaping the outcome. The stakes often feel high, and the weight of your decisions carries through to the end. Detroit Become Human succeeds because it gives players control over its story. The outcomes depend entirely on how you approach its conflicts, and every choice matters. It's a thought-provoking experience that uses its interactive medium to explore complex ideas effectively. If you enjoy story-driven games, this one offers plenty to think about. Bioshock Infinite. Let's talk about Bioshock Infinite. This game is a wild ride, and if you haven't played it yet, you're in for something special. It's a first-person shooter, sure, but what really makes it stand out is the story, the world, and the way everything ties together. You play as Booker DeWitt, a guy with a shady past, who's sent to this insane floating city called Columbia to bring back a girl named Elizabeth. At first, it seems simple enough. Find the girl, clear your debt, but things get weird fast. Columbia looks like this bright, patriotic utopia, all sunshine and old-timey music, but underneath, it's seriously messed up. There's racism, classism, and this creepy cult vibe around the city's founder, Comstock. It's beautiful to explore, but the more you dig into it, the darker it gets. The gameplay is a blast. You've got your guns, sure, but then there are vigors. Basically magic powers. You can throw fire, summon a murder of crows, or even lift enemies with a gravity shock. It's chaotic, in the best way. And the city's skyline system? So fun. You're zipping around on rails in the middle of a firefight, pulling off these crazy aerial moves. It keeps things fresh, and the combat never feels stale. Then there's Elizabeth. She's not just some escort mission character, she's the heart of the game. She's smart, resourceful, and she actually helps in combat, tossing you ammo, health, and even opening portals, or tears, to bring in extra weapons or cover. But more than that, she's a great character. You get to know her, and by the end, you care about what happens to her. The story, though, that's the real star here. It dives into heavy themes like choice, fate, and redemption without feeling preachy. And that ending? Let's just say it'll leave you staring at the screen, trying to process what just happened. It's one of those "wait, what?" moments that sticks with you long after the credits roll. Bioshock Infinite is one of those games that does it all. It's fun to play, the story pulls you in, and the world feels alive. Whether you're into action, narrative, or just exploring cool places, this one's worth your time. To the Moon. To the Moon is a small game with a big heart. It's not about flashy graphics or complex mechanics. It's all about the story, and wow, does it deliver. This is one of those games that sneaks up on you emotionally and hits harder than you'd expect. You play as 2 scientists, Dr. Rosalind and Dr. Watts, who work for a company that fulfills people's dying wishes by altering their memories. They're called in to help Johnny, an elderly man whose final wish is to go to the moon. The catch? He doesn't know why he wants to go. So you dive into his memories, moving backward through his life to piece together his story and figure out how to grant his wish. The gameplay is super simple. It's mostly exploring, solving light puzzles, and connecting memory fragments. There's no combat, no skill-based challenges, just you, the story, and the music. And honestly, that's all it needs. The simplicity lets the narrative shine. The heart of the game is in its characters. Johnny's life, his relationships, his joys and regrets, they all feel so real. As you uncover his past, you start to see how everything connects, and by the end, you'll probably be fighting back tears. It's not just about his wish, it's about love, loss, and how our memories shape who we are. To the Moon isn't a long game, maybe 4 or 5 hours, but it's unforgettable. It's heartfelt, thoughtful, and hits on themes that stick with you. If you're in the mood for something different, something that feels more like a good book or movie than a typical game, give it a shot. It's simple, but its impact is anything but. Red Dead Redemption 2. Red Dead Redemption 2 is a masterpiece of storytelling and world building. It's more than just a game, it's an experience that pulls you into the dying days of the Wild West. You play as Arthur Morgan, a member of the Van der Linde gang, and the story explores loyalty, morality, and survival as the gang's world starts to fall apart. What makes this game stand out is its attention to detail. The world feels alive, from the bustling towns to the quiet forests and snowy mountains. NPCs have routines, wildlife behaves naturally, and even your horse develops a bond with you over time. It's the kind of game where you can spend hours just hunting, fishing, or riding through the landscape, taking in the sights. The story's incredible, with characters that feel real. Arthur Morgan is a complicated man, tough, flawed, but with a moral core that makes his journey compelling. Combat and gameplay are solid, with gunfights that feel intense and weighty. The game balances action with slower, more methodical moments, like maintaining your gear, caring for your horse, or choosing how to interact with people. Your choices in these interactions affect how others perceive Arthur, and the game rewards both honorable and ruthless approaches in different ways. The writing and pacing are top-notch. The game takes its time, letting you settle into the world and Arthur's story. It's not afraid to slow down, whether that's through long rides with dialogue or quiet moments at camp. These pauses make the high-stakes action hit even harder when things go wrong. Red Dead Redemption 2 is more than a game about cowboys and outlaws. It's a story about the end of an era, told with care and attention to every detail. If you're looking for an open-world game that values narrative as much as exploration, this is one of the best out there.
Let's head out!
Ghost of Tsushima. Ghost of Tsushima is a stunning open-world game that blends action, exploration, and a heartfelt story. Set during the Mongol invasion of Japan in the 13th century, you play as Jin Sakai, a samurai torn between upholding his honor and doing whatever it takes to protect his homeland. The island of Tsushima is the real star here. It's one of the most breathtaking game worlds ever created. Rolling fields of flowers, dense forests, misty mountains, and golden temples, all of it feels alive. The game guides you with the guiding wind mechanic instead of a traditional HUD, which makes exploration feel natural. You're not just looking at waypoints, you're following the wind, wildlife, and visual cues to uncover secrets. The combat is a highlight. It's all about precision and timing. You can fight honorably as a samurai, parrying and slicing through enemies in one-on-one duels, or embrace stealth as the Ghost, sneaking through camps and taking out foes quietly. Both playstyles are satisfying, and the game encourages you to use both depending on the situation. Switching between stances to counter different enemy types adds depth, and the duels, intense one-on-one sword fights, are some of the most memorable moments in the game. The game's pacing balances intense battles with quiet moments. Whether you're meditating at a shrine, writing a haiku, or simply riding across a sunlit field, there's always a sense of calm between the action. Ghost of Tsushima is more than just a samurai game. It's a love letter to Japanese history and wrapped in a beautifully crafted open-world experience. Whether you're drawn in by the combat, the story, or the visuals, it's a game that stays with you long after the credits roll. Yakuza 0. Yakuza 0 is a prequel that sets the stage for the series while standing strong as one of the best entries on its own. Set in 1988, it follows two protagonists, Kazuma Kiryu, a young Yakuza framed for a murder he didn't commit, and Goro Majima, a disgraced Yakuza trying to claw his way back into the fold. The story is packed with crime drama, betrayal, and emotional depth, but it's also balanced by the series' signature quirky humor. The game takes place in two vibrant districts, Kamurocho and Sotenbori. These are bustling, neon-soaked playgrounds filled with activities. One moment you're solving a murder mystery, and the next you're singing karaoke, managing a cabaret club, or helping a guy get his stolen pants back. The side stories are some of the best parts of the game. They're weird, funny, and surprisingly heartfelt, adding a ton of charm to the gritty main story. Combat is fast and over the top. Both Kiryu and Majima have 3 fighting styles, and switching between them mid-fight keeps things exciting. Kiryu's styles range from balanced brawling to heavy-hitting power moves, while Majima's styles include everything from breakdancing to a flashy thug-style beatdown. Fights are brutal, satisfying, and full of heat actions, cinematic finishing moves that are as painful as they are fun to watch. What really sets Yakuza 0 apart is its balance. The main story is intense, filled with betrayals, power struggles, and moments that hit hard emotionally. But the game knows when to lighten up, and that's where the side content comes in. The ridiculous side missions, arcade games, and even real estate management feel like a welcome break without ever clashing with the story's tone. The characters are unforgettable. Kiryu is stoic and loyal, while Majima is wild yet surprisingly vulnerable. Their arcs in this game are some of the strongest in the series, giving you a real sense of where they came from and why they're so beloved. If you're new to the series, Yakuza 0 is the perfect place to start. It's got the crime drama, the wild humor, and the deep, varied gameplay the series is known for. Whether you're here for the story, the fights, or just to see what all the hype is about, this game delivers. The Walking Dead series. The Walking Dead series is a story-driven game that puts your choices at the heart of its experience. It's set in the same universe as the comics, but tells its own story, focusing on a group of survivors trying to make it through a zombie apocalypse. What sets this game apart is how deeply it invests you in its characters and the tough decisions you have to make. You play as Lee Everett, a man with a complicated past who becomes the guardian of Clementine, a young girl who's lost her family. The story is less about fighting zombies and more about the relationships between the survivors and the moral dilemmas they face. Do you risk your safety to help a stranger? Do you side with one group member over another, knowing it could fracture the group? The game constantly puts you in tough situations where there's no clear right or wrong answer. Gameplay is simple but effective. It's mostly dialogue choices, exploration, and QuickTime events. The dialogue system is where the game shines. Every choice you make feels significant, and the game remembers your decisions. Characters react differently based on how you treat them, and your actions can lead to very different outcomes. It makes every moment feel personal and weighty. The art style captures the look of the comics, with a slightly gritty, cel-shaded feel that works perfectly for the tone of the game. The voice acting is top-notch, especially for Lee and Clementine, who anchor the emotional core of the story. Their bond grows throughout the series, and by the end, it's impossible not to feel connected to them. What makes The Walking Dead so impactful is its emotional weight. It's not afraid to break your heart. Characters you grow attached to might not survive, and your choices can lead to devastating consequences. But those moments are what make the story so memorable. If you're into games that prioritize storytelling and character development, The Walking Dead is a must-play. It's gripping, emotional, and proves that games can tell stories as powerful as any book or movie. Disco Elysium. Disco Elysium is one of the most unique and thought-provoking games you'll ever play. It's not about flashy combat or saving the world, it's a detective RPG where the most powerful tools are your choices, your words, and your own mind. Set in the crumbling city of Revachol, you play as a washed-up, amnesiac detective trying to solve a murder while piecing together who you even are. The core of the game is its writing, which is phenomenal. Every conversation, every internal thought, and every piece of world building feels sharp and meaningful. The dialogue isn't just there to fill space, it's where most of the action happens. Your character's fragmented mind becomes its own cast of voices, each representing parts of your personality, like logic, empathy, or wild impulses. These voices constantly chime in, offering advice, conflicting opinions, or downright ridiculous ideas. It's as much about arguing with yourself as it is about solving the case. There's no traditional combat. Instead, you navigate the story through dialogue, skill checks, and decisions. How you build your character completely changes how you approach situations. Want to be a sharp-witted detective who solves everything with intellect? Go for it. Prefer to lean into chaos, charm, or brute force? That works too. The game doesn't punish you for playing how you want. It adapts and reacts in fascinating ways. The world of Revachol is gritty and full of history, but it's also strangely beautiful. The city feels alive, with every character, location, and event steeped in layers of political, cultural, and social complexity. The people you meet are flawed but memorable, from the hard-nosed Lieutenant Kim Kitsuragi, your partner, to the eccentric locals with their own baggage and agendas. What makes Disco Elysium special is how it balances humor, tragedy, and introspection. It's funny in a dark, absurd way, but it also doesn't shy away from heavy themes like addiction, failure, and the consequences of your choices. The story can be messy and unpredictable, just like the detective you're playing, but that's what makes it feel so personal and engaging. If you're looking for a game that challenges you to think, laugh, and reflect, Disco Elysium is an unforgettable experience. It's less about solving a murder and more about solving yourself, and the journey is worth every moment. Persona 5 Royal. Persona 5 Royal is a masterclass in storytelling, style, and character-driven gameplay. It's an expanded version of the original Persona 5, adding new content, mechanics, and story elements that make an already great game even better. At its core, it's about rebellion, taking a stand against corrupt systems while juggling the life of an ordinary high school student in Tokyo. You play as a transfer student who, along with a group of friends, discovers the ability to enter a parallel dimension called the Metaverse. In this world, they become the Phantom Thieves, finding manifestations of people's twisted desires to change their hearts in the real world. The story combines personal struggles, social critique, and over-the-top action in a way that keeps you hooked from start to finish. The gameplay has two halves, your daily life as a student and your adventures in the Metaverse. During the day, you'll attend school, build friendships, and take part in activities like studying, working part-time, or just hanging out. These activities aren't just fluff. They help strengthen your relationships and improve your stats, which directly impact how you handle the game's other half, dungeon crawling. The turn-based combat is stylish and strategic. Each dungeon, or palace, is unique, with puzzles and enemies tailored to its theme. The combat system encourages experimentation with elemental weaknesses and team synergy, and the addition of new moves in Royal makes it feel even more dynamic. There's also the randomized Mementos dungeon, which offers a break from the main story and lets you grind or complete side missions. What makes Persona 5 Royal so memorable is its characters. Each member of the Phantom Thieves has a deeply personal story that unfolds as you get to know them. They're not just allies in battle, they're friends, each dealing with their own struggles and growth. The new characters and expanded content in Royal add even more depth, giving players fresh perspectives and new emotional beats. And of course, there's the presentation. The game oozes style, from its slick menus to its jazzy, unforgettable soundtrack. The art direction brings every scene to life, whether it's the vibrant streets of Tokyo or the surreal, otherworldly palaces. Persona 5 Royal isn't just a game, it's an experience that stays with you. The combination of deep characters, meaningful choices, and stylish gameplay makes it one of the best JRPGs out there. If you're a fan of turn-based combat, great stories, or games that let you sink into another world, this one is a must-play. Mass Effect 2. Mass Effect 2 is a sci-fi RPG that raises the stakes and refines the formula of the original. It's the middle chapter in the Mass Effect trilogy, and it's often regarded as the series' best entry. You step back into the role of Commander Shepard, tasked with assembling a team of specialists to stop an emerging threat known as the Collectors. What makes this game shine is its focus on building relationships, making tough choices, and balancing action with narrative depth. The story kicks off with a bang, literally. Shepard's ship, the Normandy, is destroyed, and Shepard is brought back to life by Cerberus, a shadowy organization with its own motives. From there, you're thrown into a race against time to recruit a team of allies, each with their own unique skills and personal baggage, to take on what's essentially a suicide mission. The stakes feel high throughout, and the game does a great job of making you care about the characters and their survival. The heart of Mass Effect 2 is its squad. Each member has a detailed backstory and loyalty mission, a personal quest that helps you understand their motivations and ensures their commitment to the mission. These missions aren't just filler, they're some of the best parts of the game, letting you dive deep into the characters' lives and make choices that can have major consequences. Combat is more refined than the first game. It's faster, smoother, and more focused on tactical gunplay. You've got a mix of weapons, biotic powers, and tech abilities, and each squad member brings something unique to the table. Choosing the right team for each mission adds a layer of strategy, and the cover-based shooting feels responsive and satisfying. The game also nails its world building. Every location you visit, from the neon-lit streets of Omega to the sterile corridors of Cerberus facilities, feels alive and distinct. The writing is sharp, and your decisions carry real weight, shaping not just the story, but also the relationships you build with your squad mates. And then there's the finale, a tense, high-stakes mission where every choice you've made comes to a head. Who survives, who doesn't, and how the mission plays out all depend on how prepared you are and how much effort you've put into your team.
Traveling to the reactor core module.
A Plague Tale Requiem. A Plague Tale Requiem is a gripping sequel that builds on everything its predecessor did well, delivering a deeper, darker, and more intense experience. It continues the story of siblings Amisha and Hugo as they navigate a brutal world torn apart by war, plague, and the terrifying spread of Hugo's mysterious powers. The story picks up not long after A Plague Tale: Innocence. Amisha and Hugo are searching for a cure for Hugo's illness, but their journey takes them to even more dangerous places. The narrative doesn't shy away from hard-hitting themes, like loss, sacrifice, and the lengths we go to for the people we love. Amisha's growing desperation to protect her brother adds layers to her character, making her struggles feel raw and real. Gameplay expands on the stealth and survival elements of the first game. You'll still need to sneak past enemies, solve environmental puzzles, and use the tools at your disposal, but Requiem introduces new mechanics that give you more freedom and options in how you approach situations. Amisha's arsenal has been expanded, and Hugo's connection to the Plague's rats gives you some terrifyingly powerful abilities to wield. The mix of stealth, action, and problem solving keeps the gameplay engaging throughout. The visuals are a standout. The game's world is both haunting and beautiful, with detailed environments that range from lush countryside to grim, decaying cities overrun by the plague. The rats are back and forth, and their sheer numbers create some of the most visually striking and horrifying moments in the game. The lighting and sound design amplify the tension, making every encounter feel oppressive and intense. Where Requiem truly shines is its emotional core. The relationship between Amisha and Hugo remains the heart of the game, and their journey feels deeply personal. The stakes are higher, the challenges are greater, and the emotional toll is heavier, but it all feels earned. By the time the credits roll, the story leaves a lasting impact. A Plague Tale: Requiem is a powerful, narrative-driven experience that balances stealth, action, and emotional storytelling. If you enjoyed the first game or are looking for a gripping tale set in a beautifully grim world, this is a sequel that doesn't disappoint.
Right now, but it's so silent.
Star Wars Jedi Survivor.
Not anymore.
Star Wars Jedi Survivor is exactly what you'd want from a sequel. It takes everything you loved about Fallen Order and makes it bigger, better, and way more intense. It picks up 5 years later, with Cal Kestis now a full-blown Jedi, still on the run from the Empire and trying to make a difference in a galaxy that feels more broken than ever. The story dives into some heavier stuff too: loyalty, sacrifice, and what it really means to keep fighting when the odds are stacked against you. Cal's grown a lot, and you feel it. The gameplay? So good. They've taken the combat and fleshed it out even more. You've got different lightsaber stances now, like dual wielding or a heavy crossguard stance that makes you feel like a tank. Switching between them, depending on the enemy, keeps things fresh. And when you nail those parries or use force powers to throw someone off a ledge, it's just chef's kiss. The enemies are tougher and more varied too, so you're constantly tweaking your approach. Exploration is where this game shines. The worlds are way bigger and packed with secrets, puzzles, and side quests. You'll get lost in the best way, whether you're climbing ancient ruins, finding hidden Jedi chambers, or just chilling in a cantina talking to NPCs. Movement feels smoother this time, with new traversal tools that make exploring more fun. You can even tame and ride creatures, which is just so cool. It's all very Star Wars, that perfect mix of epic and whimsical. Visually, it's stunning. Each planet has its own vibe, from lush forests to crumbling cities, and they all feel alive. The attention to detail is insane. Like, you can see the wear on Cal's outfit after a fight, or how the wind moves through the grass as you run. And the music? It's pure Star Wars magic. It knows exactly when to hit you with the epic orchestral swells, or pull back for a quiet, emotional moment. What makes Jedi Survivor special, though, is how it balances everything. The action's awesome, but it also gives you time to connect with the characters and let the story breathe. Cal's journey feels personal, and the relationships he builds, old and new, really pull you in. By the end, it's not just about lightsabers and cool fights, though there's plenty of that. It's about the choices he makes and what they mean for him and everyone around him. If you loved Fallen Order, this is a no-brainer. It's bigger, deeper, and just feels like the next step in Cal's story. And if you're into action-adventure games with great combat and storytelling, this is one you don't want to miss. It's Star Wars at its best. Dark Souls 3. Dark Souls 3 is the kind of game that doesn't just challenge you, it demands your respect. It's punishing, sure, but it's also deeply rewarding once you get into its rhythm. If you've ever wondered what it feels like to earn every inch of progress in a game, this is it. It's the final entry in the series, and it ties everything together with a sense of finality and weight that fans of the series will appreciate. The world of Dark Souls 3 is bleak, haunting, and absolutely beautiful in its own way. You'll explore crumbling castles, eerie catacombs, and ash-covered wastelands, each dripping with atmosphere. The level design is brilliant, looping back on itself in ways that make you stop and admire just how well everything fits together. Every shortcut feels like a victory, every bonfire like a lifeline. Combat is where the game shines. It's fast, brutal, and demands precision. You've got a ton of weapons to experiment with, each with its own feel and moveset, plus powerful magic if you want to go that route. Learning enemy patterns and timing your attacks is key, and when you finally take down a boss that's been wrecking you for hours, nothing beats that feeling. It's tough, but fair. If you die, it's usually because you pushed too hard or didn't adapt. And the bosses? They're insane, in the best way. Each one is a test of everything you've learned so far. They're massive, intimidating, and often throw in a second phase just when you think you've got them figured out. But when you finally beat them, it feels like conquering a mountain. It's that kind of satisfaction. If you're new to Dark Souls, this one might feel intimidating, but it's also the most polished and accessible entry in the trilogy. Veterans, though, will love how it ties back to the previous games while still standing on its own. Dark Souls 3 isn't for everyone, but if you're up for the challenge, it's one of the most rewarding games out there. It's not just about difficulty, it's about growth, persistence, and the thrill of overcoming what seemed impossible. Dishonored. Dishonored is one of those games that feels like it was made just for people who love options. It's set in Dunwall, this dark, grimy, plague-ridden city that somehow still looks beautiful in a gritty, industrial way. You play as Corvo Attano, a bodyguard who gets framed for a murder you didn't commit. The Empress you were protecting is dead, her daughter's kidnapped, and now everyone's pointing fingers at you. Naturally, you're out for revenge, or justice, depending on how you want to play it. What's so great about Dishonored is the freedom it gives you. You can sneak through an entire level without being seen, leaving no trace you were ever there. Or, if patience isn't your thing, you can kick down the door, powers blazing, and take out everyone in your path. The best part? The game doesn't punish you for choosing one way or the other. It just reacts. If you go full chaos and leave bodies everywhere, the world gets darker and more violent. If you're merciful, things stay a little calmer. It's all up to you. The powers you get from this mysterious figure called the Outsider make everything so much fun. Blink, which lets you teleport short distances, is a game changer. You can zip from rooftop to rooftop or sneak past guards in an instant. Then there are the more, let's say, creative abilities, like summoning rats to overwhelm enemies or stopping time completely. You can combine these powers with your weapons and gadgets to handle situations however you want. It's the kind of game where you'll spend 5 minutes just experimenting, because it's that satisfying when something works perfectly. And then there's Dunwall. It's not just a backdrop, it feels alive. The city's got this grimy Victorian meets industrial vibe, with towering machines powered by whale oil and streets filled with desperate people just trying to survive. As you explore, you'll find books, overhear conversations, and pick up details that flesh out the world. It's dark, but it's fascinating, and you can't help but want to dig deeper into its history. The story is simple on the surface: clear your name, save the kidnapped heir, get revenge, but it's the choices you make along the way that give it depth. Every decision has weight, whether it's sparing a target or going full chaos. By the end, you'll feel like the story is truly yours, because it was shaped by how you played. If you like games that let you get creative, reward exploration, and give you real control over how things play out, Dishonored is absolutely worth playing. It's one of those games where every playthrough feels a little different, and that's what makes it so special.